Welcome back to Game Day Recap. Sunday Night Football happening between the Bills and the Patriots. Little uniform clash there. Not as cool as our first uniform matchup that we just saw in that first block, but nonetheless, it is scoreless between the two. Pete, you mentioned that the Bills were going to have to play this a little bit different if they're going to win. What did you say about
I just think they need to throw the ball more. They need look. They haven't unleashed Josh Allen's right arm the way I think they can and will at some point. It's coming.
So the Bills, as it stands right now, the only remaining unbeaten team in the NFL. Of course, when we entered Week 5, it was the Eagles and the Bills, but the Eagles, of course, losing today at the hands of the Broncos. There's a lot to get into in that matchup, but I just want to talk quick, big picture. Rand, I'll come to you first. What did you think about the Broncos getting that win? Was it more of a notion on the Broncos, or was this more of concern for the Eagles?
I'll say right now, let's give the Broncos their credit. They went on the road and got a tough win at a time where things weren't going in their favor, but yet they found a way to battle back. Now, here's the thing. With this Philly team and what this Vance Joseph defense has done, because I don't think we talk about VJ and his defense enough. You know, there are a ton of great defensive coordinators in this league, but just the way he runs his scheme, the big difference to me in this football game was holding the Eagles to 2 for 11 on third down, and then only 45 yards rushing. And so that was the big thing. And we won't tempt Pete again this week.
I was going to say, are you trying to throw him another softball or what?
I'll just say it this way, and I'm going to lean in on my shot right here. Philly, it's time. Mm-hmm. Unleash that guy in the backfield. Mm-hmm. He's rested. It's been 5 weeks. It's time to ride that horse.
It was their first loss since Week 16 at Washington last season. So for what we've been talking about all this season with how the Eagles have been trending, at the very least, they've got that going for them. Pete, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I'm with him, though. I mean, look, there's no way a game that's that close should ever have Saquon Barkley having 6 carries. It's just ridiculous. Never. And what is their identity? Their identity has always been to run the ball and throw off of that run. Well, they're not running the ball at all. And that's the biggest disappointment of the Eagles. Now, they've had offensive line injuries, and, you know, Dickerson went out of that game. The right guard hasn't played very well, Steen. They've had Johnson in and out of the lineup. So, and Mylaga didn't play very good this week. So you look at the group, they're not very good. They're not very good right now, and they're not running the ball. Until they find their identity, which is to run the ball, I think they're going to be in a lot of close games, and we've seen that throughout the course of the entire season, and you knew they would lose one of them, and they found a way to lose this one.
And to Pete's point, the Philly offensive line gave up 6 sacks today, which they never do. They never do that. But I want to say, because I'm remembering this from very early, 6 of Jalen Hurts' first 12 targets were to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, so that tweet hit home. Mm-hmm. No matter who it was intended for.
No one, apparently.
No one.
Well, hey, you've ever heard of the term "a hit dog will holler"?
Yes, sir.
Somebody got the message, and those guys got 6 out of the first 12 targets.
And I want to piggyback off of what both of you guys have said and what has been on my mind this entire time, which is Saquon Barkley is the engine that makes this Philly team go. I sat up here and said this a couple weeks ago, and some people thought that I was crazy. Well, let me tell you guys this. Jalen Hurts had his best passing day of the season today. Yep. He threw for 230 yards. That was his best display, which means the pass game got going, but you lost.
No, 280 he had.
280, yeah, excuse me. He had 280. I can't read my screen. He had 280, and you get the passing game going. Now, granted, A.J. Brown, he didn't get the numbers that he would have liked, but he had a decent performance. Smitty went for over 100. But what's missing? It's the run game. It's Saquon Barkley putting his DNA on the football game. And to your all's point, 6 carries for Saquon Barkley. Even if he's hurt and he's out there, if he's available, there's no circumstances ever to where that's the amount of carries that Saquon Barkley gets. Because as you see, when the Eagles have their best passing day of the season, they still come out with their first loss of the season because they're not getting Saquon going.
I'm looking at the Eagles' schedule. Of course, they're on a short week this week because they've got the Giants coming up on Thursday, but then they've got the Vikings, the Giants again, and the Packers. So I guess when we talk about the issues that this team has had, Damien, we'll talk about it from the run game perspective here. They're about to take on a Giants squad who's been kind of up and down. Their defense has been okay. Mm-hmm. Is this an opportunity to kind of get what you guys are looking for out of Saquon when you look at what's coming up on the schedule?
Well, I think it absolutely is, because when I think of the Giants defense, I think of pass rush. I think of Brian Burns. I think of Kayvon Thibodeau. I think of Sexy Dexy, who, even though he's a big interior lineman, he's one of the best pass rushing nose tackles that we've seen in quite some time. Well, what is the way to mitigate that? by running directly at the teeth of the defense. You let those guys scream up the field. Let them pin their ears back. Let them rush Jalen Hurts all day long. And what do? You let him sit back, do like this, and then he's going to hand the ball off to Saquon. The defensive line is going to be 5 yards up the field, and then he's at the second level. And that is where Saquon is at his best. Not behind the line of scrimmage, not at the line of scrimmage, at the second and third level. So I think just coming up this next week, on a short week, you have to go into this game plan if you're Nick Sirianni saying, we've got to get Saquon activated this week, and it's the perfect opportunity for him.
And the other part of that, too, you're saying what do they have to do with over these next coming weeks? This pass rush has to get going. That's what they've been known for, especially on this defense with some of the pieces that they've had in previous years. And now they are younger at that position, but now it's time to get this pass rush going. They came into week 5 ranked 26 in the league with only 5 sacks. And we're seeing teams now get 5 sacks in a single game, which we saw, and I said it earlier, the Broncos defense, had 6 today. And so this Phillies pass rush has to get to going because they do have an opportunistic secondary with some guys that can make plays on the ball and flip the field, if not score with it.
If you go back to their Super Bowl victory, what was the identity? They rushed the passer, like you said, and they ran the ball. They played physical on both lines. They're not physical on those lines right now, and they got to be better. Even guys like Jalen Carter, we thought he was going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and he hasn't been that. They need to get more physical. They need to get back to their roots, pound people, and go after the quarterback. And if they do, they'll be fine. By the way, I think they're using the first part of the season. Look, everybody's targeting you. Everybody's targeting you.
You said that. You
right?
said Rand
Everybody's
said that.
targeting
Rand
you.
said that.
They
But
target you, and then
Rand also said something. It's time to ride that horse.
it's time to get him the ball. No question.
time.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at, I'm sorry, this is the last thing, but not to talk too much about the Saquon situation, but his numbers are actually going down.
Right.
They're not going up.
Right.
They're going down. I mean, he went for 60 in week 1, 88 in week 2. So, okay, he went up. But then it's 46, 43, 30, and what's most concerning is his longest rush is 17 yards. So again, we need to see those numbers start to go up. We're getting towards the middle of the season. That's when we should start seeing the Eagles get back into championship caliber.
Agreed.
Let's talk about the other side of this matchup, though, because you mentioned it, Rand. You said it. We got to give the Broncos their flowers. An interesting note from our research team, they go for 2 when they were down 16-17, about 7.5 left in the game. It was the first go-ahead attempt in Sean Payton's entire head coaching career. So I get you're shaking your head. Did you agree with that? What did you think about it?
Did I agree with it? I did not agree with it. I did not agree with it, but it paid off. I did not agree with it at all.
Why?
Because there was still a ton of time left in the game. It wasn't like it was the end of the game. It was still 7.5 minutes, I think, left when he did it. So what's your end game there? That they still going to get the ball and they can go get a field goal and beat you, whether you got that or not. That's why I didn't agree with it.
Do you think
Sean had the analytics team in the ear. They were playing the analytics game, the game management game. Every team has that guy that says, here's the situation. It's usually not popular to us old school football folks, but there's a rhyme and a reason. And we said as soon as, because Pete was having a fit when they went for
I was
2.
having a fit for it.
But then when they got it, it made sense.
Still didn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense.
It does because they won the game.
It worked and they won the game.
They also needed a field goal late to win the game.
The game.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do like that you
Pete
brought that
Prisco,
up.
was that you?
But did they not need the field goal to win the game? Because the Eagles were actually in field goal range that if they didn't get that field goal late, they would have won the game whether he went for the 2 or not, correct?
So what was your preferred, I guess, how would you have managed that situation if you were Sean
I would have
Payton?
kicked the extra point and then played it out. There's too much time left. It was 7.5 minutes left in the game. Way too much time. You can get a couple possessions to go win that game. And if you don't get that, what happens? All the momentum goes back to the Eagles, correct? And if you do get it, they get the ball and then go get a field goal to beat you anyways. So I didn't look. I get why he did it. He was being aggressive. He was on the road. He came back from being down. I get it. I just wouldn't have done it.
But can I propose a different perspective? Imagine if you're Bo Nix in a game to where you haven't played your best so far this season, you're down 2 scores, and your head coach, who is the legendary Sean Payton, says, you know what? I want to see you make a play. I want to see your offense go out there and make a play. This is essentially me handing over the keys. Go make a play for us to show us that we've got our guy.
No, I understand, but he actually played really well. So in the second half, he was really good in the second half.
And you have to take that into consideration to make the decision.
Why put it on one play? Why put it on one play?
You play
to win. win the game.
You're not playing to
Thank
win
you.
the game. You're playing to put it all in one play. I just
But they won
disagree.
the game.
They won
Okay, but they needed that extra field goal to win the game, did they not?
They won the game.
They needed
Pete.
that field goal to win the
Pete,
game, otherwise they don't
Pete,
win the game.
Pete, it's your birthday, but they won the game.
Yeah, I know they won the game. They would have won the
game.
game. They would have won the game if they kicked.
Call
too.
Sean Payton and tell him.
Believe me, I would tell him. I got his number. I'll call him right now.
You win the break. You won't.
I'll text him right now and tell him I wouldn't have won for 2.
We'll come back. That's what you get to look forward to when you come back to Game Day Recap. We got to hit another break here on the show. We got to get Sean Payton's perspective on all of this. When we come back, boy, the Ravens have struggled. I know they're dealing with injuries, but the fans were booing John Harbaugh. Is there a fix in sight? We'll break it down when you come back to Game Day Recap.